Hey, it's Joseph Cheek here, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. This is the start of a short series on Melodyne, and in this video, we're going to look at the different versions that are available so you can decide what the best version for you and your needs is. So let's get stuck into it. So you may know Melodyne is the industry standard for transparent vocal tuning. So it's absolutely brilliant at what it does and an indispensable tool on basically any project. However, if you have gone to buy it before, you've probably seen that there are 4 versions available that really vary in price quite a lot. And you may have been confused about which one it is that you need for your work that you do in the studio. So let's explore the different versions now. If you open up the Melodyne website, you'll see there are 4 different versions available: Melodyne Essential, Melodyne Assistant, Melodyne Editor, and finally Melodyne Studio. And like I said, they range in prices dramatically from quite cheap to extremely expensive. So you don't want to go and spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a version that you might not need. Now, as a side note, if you hop onto the Melodyne website before the end of 2025, you'll see they have a pretty huge sale on at the moment. So you can grab the first version, which is Melodyne Essential, for just $25 US instead of the normal $99 US. So a huge saving there right away. Then once you have the Essential version, you can use that to upgrade to one of the other versions for cheaper than buying it outright. So we'll get to that in a sec. But first, let's have a look at what the different versions actually do. So firstly, we have Melodyne Essential. This is the entry-level Melodyne plugin, and it just offers some very basic tools for tuning your vocals. It is quite limited in what it can do, so if you are looking to do any kind of serious vocal editing, I wouldn't recommend getting this one. Although of course you can get it just to test it out, especially because at the moment, until the end of 2025, it is on sale for just $25. So if you do want to grab that and explore it, then you're more than welcome to. However, you may find that the editing that it can do is quite limited, as I said. There are a limited amount of tools that are available for you to use, so it's just a very basic vocal tuning that you can do. And perhaps that's fine for you and your needs if you're just looking to do some very light editing on recordings you've done. Maybe it's just a demo and you just want to polish it up that tiny bit, then it might be completely fine for you. However, the next version up, Melodyne Assistant, has much more powerful tools. In fact, it's basically the full suite of vocal editing tools that you need to edit vocals. Now, for years, I used Melodyne Assistant and I didn't need anything extra. It has a great suite of tools so that you can finely tune any vocal performance. There are tools that allow you to adjust vibrato, allow you to adjust pitch drift if you're basically on a note but maybe drifting slightly sharp or flat at the end of it. You can chop the performance up to fine-tune tiny bits of it. You can even adjust the formants of your notes that you're singing. So it really is extremely powerful. And if you're just doing vocal tuning, you really don't need to look any further than Melodyne Assistant. When we get into Melodyne Editor, which is the next version up, the main new feature that is added is the ability to do polyphonic tuning. So this means if there's an instrument that you want to tune, like a guitar or a keyboard or something else that has more than one note at a time, that is, it's polyphonic, you can get in there and actually just adjust one of the notes in the chord. So it's extremely powerful. And if you are in the scenario where you just need to adjust one note on a guitar, it is very, very handy. And it's gotten me out of some tight spots over the years where someone might have just hit one wrong note in the chord. Maybe they played a major chord instead of a minor chord. So this version of Melodyne allows us to get in there and just change the third from a major to a minor pretty transparently. So if you think you may need the polyphonic functionality, then Editor is the one to go for you. Finally, there's Studio. So that's the top of the range Melodyne software. And one of the best features about this one is that you can open up multiple instances of Melodyne within the same plugin window. So in all the other versions before this, if you do have 20 vocal layers, for example, you have to open them up all individually to look at them. Whereas in the top version of Melodyne, Melodyne Studio, you can look at any of the vocals that have Melodyne on them from a single window. And I'll show you that now. So if we skip over to this Pro Tools session, you'll see there's a few vocal tracks loaded up here. So we can simply open up Melodyne, and you can either open it up at the bottom of Pro Tools here, or if you click this little button, it makes a pop-out window. Normally I'll have it in the pop-out window, which is handy because I have it on my other screen. So I've just got Melodyne up there when we're going through vocal tuning, and then I can have the standard Pro Tools window down the bottom. So you can see along the side here, it lists all the instances of the Melodyne plugin that we have in this session. So we can really easily just flick between the different vocal performances and adjust them as needed. Or we can compare one vocal performance to another one. For example, we can load up one, which is just grayed out, and then one which has the orange blobs as they're called, and we can see if they match up. So you can see this one is basically exactly the same. So there's two different singers, but they've sung basically the same melody. There's a few little bits and pieces that don't look like they line up exactly, but overall the main notes line up perfectly. So we can see as many as we want at a time, and you can even highlight all of them if you want to show all of the blobs for all of the performances at once. Now it can get a little bit tricky to navigate in that situation as to which one you're actually adjusting. So most of the time I wouldn't recommend doing that if there are people singing the same notes at once. However, if they are singing harmonies, so they're all singing a different note at any one time, then you can have all of them up on the screen, and that can be a pretty quick way to get through the vocal tuning. So that is a great feature of Melodyne Studio. However, it comes with a huge price tag, and one that if you're not doing it professionally every single day, is pretty hard to justify. So as you can see here, the normal price for Melodyne Studio is a whopping $849 US. So that's a heck of a lot for some vocal tuning software. And if you're in Australia like me, that's well over 1,000 Aussie dollars. So for most people, that's prohibitively expensive if you're not using it every single day professionally. But the great news is, it isn't essential to get that one. Like I said, if you're just looking to do really good vocal tuning and you're not worried about any polyphonic functionalities and you don't mind switching between different Melodyne windows, then Melodyne Assistant is really all you need. It really is an excellent version of Melodyne and has the full spread of tools that you'll ever need to do great vocal editing. So for those of you who are just working on your own music at home, Melodyne Assistant is really all you'll ever need to get the job done. So finally, let's just have a look at the pricing on it. So normally it is $299 if you buy it outright. However, as I did say, they do have a sale on at the moment. So if you are seeing this video before the end of 2025 and you're thinking about getting Melodyne, definitely jump on it. So what I would recommend is to start off by buying Melodyne Essential. So as it says, you can get it for just $25 US at the moment, which is basically 75% off of the normal price. Now, once you have Melodyne Essential, you can then upgrade to Melodyne Assistant. So let's have a look at the updates and upgrades. So here we are, switch to Melodyne Assistant, and we'll be switching from this one, Melodyne Essential Any version. So there's all the latest version if you're buying it right away. So to upgrade from Melodyne Essential to Melodyne Assistant at the moment is just $49. So once again, 75% off. So instead of paying $300 US outright, you can get it for just $74 by first of all buying Melodyne Essential, then upgrading to Melodyne Assistant. So that is an absolute bargain. So overall, you've saved 75%, which is huge. Now, if you're not watching this video before the end of 2025, don't despair. Melodyne is often on special and for up to 50% off. So if you're not in a huge rush to get it, I would say just wait until one of those specials. And if you don't want to pay for Melodyne Assistant right away, you could just try Essential, get that for 50% off, then wait for the next sale and then upgrade to Assistant for 50% off. So whatever works for you and your budget. But if you are just looking to do vocal tuning and nothing else, I'd say Assistant covers everything that you'll need. So that's it for this introduction into Melodyne and the different versions that are available. I really hope this was helpful for you. If it was, then please like and subscribe so I can continue to do these videos for you. And if you really want to deep dive into music production, then head on over to our Ireland Production Academy, where we've got a full suite of tutorials and lessons for you so that you can dial in great productions and mixes from the comfort of your own home. So that's it for now, and I'll see you in the next one.